Now it's back to saying it's building an audience for us.
I'll take the link and put it in, although it's on us interrupted already. No, that's all right. Get this URL and I'll put it in the other place.
Okay.
Looks like he's back up.
Yeah. Broadcasting live again. Period. I'm online. Okay.
Linda, thanks to my new screen, I can't get the link. Will you
Now-
get the link and put it on the old one?
Okay, welcome back to the Way of Mastery. We've been having hellacious changes and technical difficulties that have been trying to interfere with this broadcast, but I am going to do it anyway, no matter what. And so we're starting over, all over again. Everybody online is online. Hello. And we're going to jump into the daily meditations and exercises on page 320 in the Way of Knowing, in the Way of Mastery. So what I'd like to ask you all to do right now is let's take advantage of the meditation that it wants us to do right now. Everybody that's online, take advantage of an opportunity now to like close your eyes, and then we're going to get centered, and we're going to go deep into this, because if it's all this is going on, it must be some good stuff that I'm going to say tonight through this. So I'm excited about it. So right now, even though you're in the chair, I want you to hold your palms outward and your arms don't necessarily have to be outstretched in an uncomfortable way. They can just be on your thighs, but just with your palms up. Okay. All right. And then tell yourself, I open and receive the reality of love for myself now. I open and receive the reality of love for myself now. I open and receive the reality of love for myself now. I open and receive the reality of love for myself now. I open and receive the reality of love for myself now. I open and receive the reality of love for myself now. Okay, so it says, you see self-love is the pathway to perfect peace. Loving yourself is the pathway. Okay, I'll say it again. Loving yourself, Raj, is the pathway to you having perfect peace. Loving yourself, I like that. Loving yourself is the pathway. That's an interesting statement. Loving yourself is the pathway. You don't love yourself and then get on the path. Loving yourself is the path. I like that. I really like that. Self-love opens all the doors. So not loving yourself closes all the doors. Self-love dissolves every illusion. When you love yourself, you can't be fooled. When you love yourself, you can't be fooled. When you really love yourself, you can't be fooled. It says self-love dissolves every illusion. Now it says, I'm not speaking of the love for the illusions of the egoic mind with which you become identified. I'm not talking about you saying I love myself because I got a certain amount of money in the bank. I love myself because I have a wonderful partner, husband or wife. I love myself because I have a great pet. I love myself, not because. I love myself. No, don't put a because on it. I love myself. Don't put a because on it. The self that is beyond time is that self from which even the body has emerged. So your body emerged from yourself. Like lots of people say, where did the body come from? It came from you. But it didn't come from the you that's sitting or watching or listening to this. It's whenever it says you, I was telling somebody that the other day, when it says something like you are God and you created your body, I think it's really important that we get that it is not talking about us that's sitting up here in this room. Mm-hmm. And our ego is quick to tell us, oh, how did I create my body? No, you didn't. The you that thinks you're separate from God, the you that thinks you're something that could die, The you that thinks that you're loved because of something. The you that thinks that you are a victim. The you that has grievances, anger, sometimes feeling good, sometimes it's like, that ain't the you that it's talking about. Mm-hmm. It's talking about the you that produced the you that you think is sitting in the chair. It's talking about your real self. It's not talking about your human self. Mm. Your human self isn't your real self, because your human self is temporary. And by definition, anything that's temporary is not real. Mm. According to metaphysical or spiritual law, it's not real unless it lasts, and it's not real unless it's permanent. So it's using an entirely different criteria to judge what's real than what we use. We think what's real is what we can physically sense. You know, it's real because I can taste it, touch it, feel it, and hear it. And the truth teaches us so now I need to celebrate.
Okay.
Now I need to celebrate. Okay? Why? Because my energy is dropped. I'm making myself feel frustrated.
Yes.
I'm making myself feel tired of this.
Yes.
Okay? And so I need to celebrate.
Yes.
And celebrate you being here, celebrating me being here, celebrating, getting a chance to do this together. Okay? You know. See, the one thing that as a teacher I never understand is when people ask me, "What do you do?"
Yeah.
That's the one question that never makes any sense.
Yeah. What do you do?
What is the thing that every one of these books are doing? Every wisdom text.
Yeah.
It's telling you what to do.
Yeah.
It's telling you how to think. It's telling you what to say. It's telling you what to ask for. But that's the most common question that I hear from people who are studying. They say, "What can I do?" And unless you get, in other words, what should I do? Okay, I'm in doubt. Celebrate. What should I do? I should start really letting go all the blocks to me loving myself. You know, he's telling me, what should I do? Miracles always says is say when you don't know what to do, say, "Decide for me, Holy Spirit." You say, which is your higher self, your greater self. And it's like, I don't know what to do, so you decide for me. And then whatever happens after that, you have to accept that was the decision. You know, if you get ready to, you want a job, and you apply for that job, and then you say, "Decide for me, Holy Spirit," and they don't hire you, do not spend 5 minutes going through, why didn't I get the job? Because the Holy Spirit decided that you shouldn't have the job. That's why you don't have the job. But I'm making I make a lot more money. That would have been the worst job for some reason. That was not because you said higher self, decide for. We got to cut that stuff out. We got to cut out saying, "God help me," and then still thinking we know what's best.
Yeah.
And then right, we got to cut that out. I mean, at some point, we have to start living this stuff and stop using it as entertainment.
Yes.
Right. I think so many people, and this is just my perception, but I think so many people look at this stuff as entertainment. It's something that they just do for the fun of it because it's interesting, not because they really believe in it or want to really do it. It's just, it beats watching TV. You know, and I'll go, and it beats going to a movie, so
At least that's a plus.
Yeah, but and like I always say, the things that I say only apply to who it applies to.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel that way, then I'm not talking to you.
Right.
But there are a lot of people that no matter what these books say, they relate to it because it is what they're going through right now. It is what they are experiencing right now. And some people are deep in denial and pretending like they're not feeling it, even though they're surrounded by people who are feeling it, which is the other way you're deceiving yourself.
Sure, totally.
Absolutely. There's no way. Okay, you're not like any of the people you are around. That's very special. That's very special. Okay, and so it says to us that the very fact that you have a body that has emerged out of consciousness in order to be used to extend love is pretty miraculous. So you could take one sentence and spend a whole hour on it. Like that sentence right there. It says, the very fact that you have a body the very fact that body emerged out of consciousness, that means that the body was created by the mind. And then it says in that same sentence, why? To extend love, to extend freedom. I didn't hear it say, Earl, it was so you can be on Oprah. And I didn't hear it say, Earl, so that you could be on TV. And I didn't hear it say, Earl, so you can make $1 million. And I didn't hear it say, Earl, so you can be special. I didn't hear it say any of that. It said that I have a body that emerged out of consciousness to extend love, which is to extend freedom. And it says, and you are free, check that out, to celebrate that simple, essential truth in any moment. So what are you free to do? You're free to celebrate that you have a body that emerged out of consciousness to extend love. We should be celebrating that we have bodies. We should be having a body celebration.
Yes.
All right. Sounds like a dance party to me.
Yeah, we should be celebrating that we have bodies instead of me saying my stomach's too big.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever said that or anything like that. Not that I have a war with my stomach or anything like that. That's where all my grievances are located. In my belly. Man, they are. You know, I feel pretty good about myself. Then I look down and get to my stomach. Then, oh hell! Damn it! I was almost perfect. Almost.
But having a body is the very representation of extending love.
That's right. The purpose of it is to extend love.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Big belly.
The bigger
Okay.
the stomach, the more love.
Absolutely.
Luda. Just call me Cy Bubba. Cy Bubba. All right.
Okay,
All right. I got the stomach. Now all I need is the enlightenment.
Yeah.
It's got one little
Let's
detail.
celebrate it,
One little
yeah.
detail. So it says, you are free to celebrate this essential, simple truth in any moment. Then ask, who can I extend love to now?
Wow.
And I want to say again to those online, we're having a few technical difficulties. So if it pauses, just stay there and hang there for a minute, because it automatically tries to reconnect. So don't freak out. Just hang in there. Our patience is being tested tonight. Okay? Let me get to, I want to use my iPad because it's a lot easier to look at these little tiny little. Anybody have any thoughts about that or anything that I've said so far?
I'm giggling at Maureen's response when you were saying blame things on the Holy Spirit. She says, got my hair done today. Thank you, Holy Spirit, I could kill you, because it's obviously better than killing my hairdresser.
I'm glad you're applying the truth to very deep subjects.
Hair is very personal.
No, you got to understand, I'm a black dude. You ain't seen
Who's
nobody.
bald.
No, I'm saying you haven't seen nobody value their hair like black women.
Yeah.
Don't even mention nothing to me about that. I had 4 sisters and a mama. I know about hair. I know about black hair. They're serious about the hair. They don't kid around about the hair. I'm telling you. Okay.
Well, I liked I took this into my week. How can I experience love now, and how can I extend love? And I met an encounter today that was very unpleasant with a person who was very just cruel and closed and just really mean. And obviously that says something about me, I guess, because I'm interacting with this person. And I noticed myself wanting to shut down, and I was like, no, don't. Like, what's my tool bag here? What's my tool bag? And I realized, and I was like, oh, how can I extend love? How can I extend love? And I'm saying this over and over, and it was just so softening. And I'm just like looking at him, and I'm like, man, you need some love. I didn't say that, but I'm just
no, that's true.
It just
That's
really
true.
opened me
That's
up.
true. But and the beauty of what you did, you proved a very deep truth, which is that nobody can make you feel any kind of way. She was all upset and going off. You still maintained your peace, which proves that nobody's making you mad. She, you looked at her different, and even though she was acting in a way that another time you probably would have reacted back the same way, because of your ways of looking at things that you've learned, you didn't get pulled into it, which means whenever we say somebody's making us feel anything or somebody's hurting our feelings, that is not true. No one can hurt your feelings. It's your interpretation of what they're saying that you use to determine how you feel. That's a biggie. So if you can take a moment, and what was beautiful about what you did, Paris, is that when you stop and you go, how can I extend love? That's the pause for inspiration. See, when you make that pause, that's when sanity can come in. And that's when spirit can come in and give you even further guidance about how to keep your cool in that situation.
It felt very warming. Like there was and there also felt like a gap, which I don't know how to describe it other than just sort of like a gap of maybe stepping back from how it was that I would have reacted. And so it was a very nice tool to be able to call upon in a situation that I could have reacted to. And I don't want to fool anyone. I was going in and out of that. Like I saw myself judge, and then I was like, wait a minute, no, I don't need to get, kind of like this internet connection. Connected, not connected.
Because the internet connection is different. Internet connection is different.
Anyway, I'm just so grateful for the tools, like the actual
right, and that was the point that I was making. That you applied it. You applied it. And it always works when you apply it. So it says, how can I extend love now? How can I experience love now? It is all much simpler than you think. In the way of knowing, there is knowing. If that statement seems puzzling to you, contemplate that statement. In the way of knowing, there is knowing. And contemplate it as what? A meditation. In the way of knowing, there is knowing in the way of knowing. There is knowing in the way of knowing. There is knowing. There is no more powerful state of consciousness to act from than the state of knowing. In the Course in Miracles, it describes knowledge as absolute certainty. I love that. That when it says you have knowledge, it means you have absolute certainty. There is absolutely no doubt at any level, in any way whatsoever. That's when you reach the state of knowledge. So that's the same as saying, in the way of certainty, there is certainty. Okay? And so there is no more powerful state of consciousness to act from. Let me give you a definition of consciousness. It says consciousness is your level of interpretation. I love that. Wow. Your level of consciousness is the level that you interpret things on. Like when Paris looked at it as a call for love, then that was her level of consciousness, because that was the level that she interpreted what was going on from. She saw it as basically the lady had a call for love. So that's your level of consciousness. It's the level that you are interpreting. There are only two levels of interpretation, really, ultimately, which is I'm a victim or I'm responsible. I'm either interpreting my experience as if I am the responsible for how I'm seeing it, or I'm creating my experience and looking at it as someone and everything's doing it to me and I'm a victim. So those are the two main levels of consciousness that anybody's on that you're around. And all you have to do is listen to them for a few minutes and you'll know. Okay. All right. Then it says, in the way of knowing, for indeed, beloved friends, if you truly accepted yourself as Christ, if you truly accepted your true self, you would know that you couldn't fail. So this is where I like to put it. How do you know when you've accepted yourself? Well, you would be certain that you can't fail. Until you're certain that you can't fail, does that mean you haven't truly accepted your true self? Yes. And if you couldn't fail, what would you do with your time? If you would be successful at whatever you attempted, what would you be doing today?
Wow, that's a good question.
If you knew you couldn't possibly fail, what does that mean? It means you know that the universe will completely support you at all times. Wow. So when it says you can't fail, it doesn't mean we would think that I can't fail in terms of some goal that some personal interest I've set for myself. It's saying, no, when you say you couldn't possibly fail, you know that the Creator is going to support you completely all the time. That's why you know you can't fail. You know you can't fail because you aren't dependent on your ego to make things happen anymore. So as you choose only to act, to do, to think how in a way that extends love. As you choose to what? Only to act, only to do, only to think in a way that extends love. What? I love it. Would you be living where you're currently living?
Oh, I wonder.
If you were only choosing to act, do, and think in a way that extends love, would you still be living where you're living? Would you be doing with your time what you're currently doing with your time if all you did was extended love, which is freedom, which is peace, which is abundance, which is joy, which is happiness? It might get warm if you close the door, Patrick.
Sure.
Our body heat will take it up because every time it gets a little warm, it's being sucked out into the rest of the building. I doubt if anybody else is coming.
They do, I'll let them in.
Yeah, if they do, let the
Might
somebody
not.
comes, let them in.
Oh,
Yeah, it's snowing outside, and so that's what's going on in Denver land. Yeah, snowing right now. It'll be 70 in a day. That's
Oh, pretty
Colorado.
good, trying to really.
Okay.
Maybe so.
Many of you have answered no. You wouldn't currently be doing what you're doing because you think you must survive first in order to find a way to teach only love. First, I got to survive, and then I'll figure out this loving everybody stuff. First, I got to survive, then I'll figure out how to love all y'all.
Yeah.
I'll take care of that after I got my survival needs taken care of. Just hold on. Hold on. I'll start loving y'all as soon as everything in my life gets perfect the way I want
Oh,
it.
great.
So be patient, right? In the way of knowing the Christ mind, which is the love mind, recognize it has no purpose whatsoever except to extend love. Y'all seeing kind of a repetition here. Okay, so if you are in the way of knowing, you know that your only purpose is to extend freedom and to extend love. The body mind, that's what he calls us, the body mind, because we're the mind that thinks it's in the body. So we're the body mind. The body mind need not survive more than the next instant. If in that next instant you have extended love and your guidance is time to be beamed up. So if you are really in the way of knowing, then it says you would not be concerned about your survival because you would feel like if your guidance told you that it was time for you to release your physical existence, you go, time to beam me up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you watch Star Trek, when they go land on a planet and they do whatever they're going to do. I've never heard them say, you know, it's time to beam up, and they went, no! You know, they usually go, all right.
Yeah.
Beep, 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 and they're gone.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to beam me up? Anybody want to beam me up? All right.
Darn.
All right. But I'm going to celebrate having a body that's emerged out of consciousness to extend love to all of you. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Those that know that only love is real, notice he's telling us exactly how the mind acts that knows the truth. It says, those that know that only love is real are not concerned with what they eat.
Whoa.
Those who know that only love is real, they're not concerned about what they drink. Those that, because these things come into the body and they leave through the body, unless you're constipated.
There's something for that.
And there's something for that. There's an app for that.
Come talk to me.
Come talk to Paris. She has an app for that.
No, but I have a good game plan.
She
No,
has-
I have a
She
good
got a
game
good
plan.
game plan. That's right. She deals with nutrition and all that kind of stuff. Say those who know that love is real, they are concerned only with whether or not that which they consume for the sake of the body was consumed in love.
Wow.
So if I'm really enlightened, I'm not concerned about what I eat. I'm concerned about the attitude I eat it with.
Absolutely.
So a conscious being is much more concerned. And what do I hear people create so much guilt around food?
Big time.
Big time. Big time. So eating your food with guilt makes you sick.
Yes.
Okay? Love is what allows the transmutation of anything that comes into the physical system. If you truly were love, you could not be poisoned. Because love would allow the transmutation of anything that comes into your physical system.
Totally.
That means love allows whatever has come into your physical system to be turned to that which supports the energetic wholeness of the physical system itself. So if you're really loving yourself, then everything you bring into your system is transmuted to something that supports your physical system.
That's awesome. Totally.
Yeah, I grew up with what people would call poor, right? And so when I was growing up, the cheapest thing you could buy was pork. Pork was like anything that was made out of a pig was the cheapest thing you could possibly eat. So we ate a lot of pork, and a lot of beans and greens and stuff like that, because they had people that came around in the neighborhood that sold vegetables off the back of a truck when I was growing up. So and then my godfather was a farmer, so and he sold vegetables on the truck. In the truck, and at the end of the day, whatever was left, he'd give it to us for the most part. So I realized now I ate a lot of organic food when I was growing up. But we used to eat everything on the pig but the onk, which was the sound it made. It was a way to make a sound. We could have come up with something to do with the onk. We would have had an onk sandwich. It would be an onk burger. Okay. You know, then the ears, the tails, and then carrot. It was done. And I never went to the doctor in my entire childhood. Not one time.
Yeah.
Ever. You didn't go to the doctor when you grew up black in a black neighborhood. You about halfway dead. They about to pronounce you dead before you went to the doctor when you didn't have money. And there were tons of natural remedies that our parents knew about that people have gotten away from now. You know. But the point that I'm making was, according to what people say about the diet, I ate a lot of stuff that wasn't supposed to be good for you, but I never got sick because I loved my mother's cooking and I loved eating. And so she never had to make me eat anything. I was the leftover person. Everything was left over. Give it to him. Okay. So this next paragraph is going to be kind of challenging. It's far greater to have a bottle of scotch for breakfast in a state of total Christed love than it is to have 9,000 vitamins with one tiny fearful thought.
Yes.
Yes.
I say it again. I can see people exploding. I can see all kinds of reactions. I can feel it. But I'll say it again. It's far greater to have a bottle of scotch, or in Colorado terms, it's far better. It's far greater to wake up in the morning and have a joint. In a state of total Christed love than it is to have 9,000 vitamins with fear. He said, so that is something for you to think about.
Wow.
Okay? Because, for you see, it is fear that causes you to be unable to digest what you place in the body. Fear gives you indigestion. Indigestion comes from fear and guilt. And it is fear that causes you to be unable to digest what you place in the body. And it also means the body of the emotions or the body of the mind. So that means it is what causes stress, fear, in the subtle system of the body and the subtle non-physical bodies, the emotional body and the mental body and the causal body. So fear affects all of your bodies. Fear affects all of your bodies. Am I still live okay?
Yeah, you're doing well.
All right, I'm frozen on my phone. Okay.
Let it out. Now celebrate.
Celebrate, celebrate to the music.
You could be pissed too.
Oh, I am. I'm enlightened, doggone it. An enlightened person don't pretend that they feel what they don't feel. That's where I felt right then.
Absolutely.
Don't you dare tell yourself being spiritual means you smile at everything that happens, whether you feel like it or not.
So if you see weird faces like frowns or whatever, it's showing that I'm putting things on your screen and I don't know how. So if I'm frowning at you, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're putting frowns on them?
An enlightened person really tells them how they feel.
That's right. That's right. No, it's funny.
I'm
It's
seeing
funny.
my
It's like
picture,
it's
it's
like the
like,
phone blacking out. It's like it's so funny because the truth would say we're the ones that's creating this.
Yeah.
That is some part of us that doesn't want to hear what's being said. So we're collectively creating interference
Curious.
to keep us from hearing it.
Yeah.
But we apparently need to hear it right here.
Yeah, and the people who are hanging in there, and who are hanging in here no matter what. I mean, seriously, need to hear. So, what causes the greatest problem is your refusal to digest what you've taken in. Just as food is a physical substance taken into the body, an experience of any kind is food. So, any experience that you're having of any kind is food. That's deep. Because we think thinking of food is how we think of regular food, but Yeshua is saying in the way of mastery that any experience is food.
Yeah.
You take in some food for your physical body, but you're also taking in experiences, and that's food for your emotional body, your mental body, and the causal body. So anything that arises that cannot pass through you, that means through your unwillingness to embrace it with love, that's why it can't pass through you. Okay, things can't pass through me if I'm not willing to embrace it in love. That includes my anger, my fear, my guilt, and my upset. To feel guilty about feeling guilty is not allowing your guilt to pass through. To feel angry about getting angry is not letting your anger pass through. To beat yourself up about not being nice enough is not letting that fear pass through. So you got to encompass all of it. You got to have a willingness to embrace all your feelings with love. How do you embrace all your feelings with love? You feel the feeling completely. That's why I went, right? I wanted to feel that feeling of making myself feel frustrated about the technical glitches. I had to feel that completely so that I won't have indigestion of my physical, emotional, mental, and causal bodies. So actually that kept me from being sick, where the ego would say, if you really got your act together, you just wouldn't get frustrated because you know you're giving it all the meaning that it has for you, because people are always good at saying the truth about your stuff.
Your stuff.
Yeah, not their stuff, but they'll be quick to tell, well, Earl, you know you're the one that's just making it happen.
That's an emoji.
Earl, you're the one that's making it happen. See, I was embracing that with love.
Okay.
Because I was feeling it completely and not having any, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The minute you said what's going on, and all the truth students pounce on you, telling you, you know you're the one that did it, but then they freaking out about something 5 minutes earlier. So, I always tell people, it doesn't impress me when you can practice the truth on my stuff.
No.
I'm sorry, you're not impressing me by being able to spout the truth about what I'm going through when I see you don't apply it to yourself at all. You can laugh at your stuff, then that's a different ball game.
Oh, yeah.
You corrected me, I'm not impressed. Okay?
I think what's really interesting is that this lack of willingness of really feeling fully and letting it metabolize is really resulting in a lot of emotional constipation.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Like big time.
Exactly.
That then manifests physically
That's right.
in different ways.
That's exactly right. Because I'm eating with guilt. I'm having experiences, food, with guilt and with anger. He says, so I'm not allowing it to pass through me, and so it creates indigestion. So, therefore, beloved friends, learn to digest everything in love. Learn to digest all things in love. Learn to digest the traffic jam in love. That means learn to digest the dying of a pet in love. Learn to digest an apple in love. Learn to digest a hurtful thought in love. Learn to digest a misperception that there is something wrong with the world around you with love. Digest the world. what does digest means? It means I'm going to allow my feelings and thoughts to pass through me. I'm going to embrace it with love. That means I'm going to feel what I'm feeling completely. So don't make it more difficult and more complicated than what it's talking about. It's just saying you will authentically feel what you feel. Because I catch myself all the time trying to pretend I don't feel what I feel. I'll be angry, and I swear I've watched myself trying to hide it from myself and pretend that I'm not making myself feel angry right now. Have you ever done that? You know, really been afraid, but you were going to pretend to yourself, not even to anybody else.
Exactly.
You're pretending that what you don't feel with you. It's one thing to tell me you feel okay when you know you are very upset, but it's another thing that you're telling yourself you're not upset when you're upset. Okay, because then you're not digesting the experience, and it's going to cause you some problems. When you hear this kind of stuff, don't you all agree that you begin to see why the world is in the condition it is in today? Because you will realize that most of us are doing everything it says not to do.
Right. Yeah.
That we're basically, we don't eat without guilt.
Yes.
We don't celebrate when we have a hurtful thought.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? We don't love ourselves as the past. And then we go, well, what's wrong? Why is nothing working in my life? You're not practicing the truth.
Yeah.
That's all. So then it says, now transform all things by the power of your only reality. And what is your only reality? Love. Now I want to ask of you, what is it that you have refused to digest in this one incarnation? Have you refused to digest an unfairness bestowed upon you by your mother or father? Are you still holding a grievance against your mother or father? Are you still holding a grievance against your mother or father or both? Are you still holding a grievance against anyone? What's another thing you might have refused to digest? Was it the bad break at the office in which you got passed up for a promotion? Has something happened on your job that you're holding a grievance about? Has something happened on your job that are you going to work every day holding a grievance because of your salary? Are you feeling like you're not being appreciated on your job? Are you feeling like you're being passed over for opportunities? That's an indigestion. What is it in your life that remains undigested? Okay, I'm going to throw that out to the people online as well as the people in the room. Would anybody care to say anything that they feel remains undigested? Okay. You know.
Oh yeah, being sexually abused as a little child.
Okay. Experiencing abuse as a child is not fully digested yet. So how would you digest that? You would then embrace it with love. What does it mean to embrace what happened to you as a child with love? It means to feel it completely. Just allow yourself to feel what you feel about it completely without beating yourself up about it or judging yourself for the feelings you have. In other words, be the way you are all the time, but just don't beat yourself up about it. That's all. If you really be, that's all it's really saying to us.
Yeah.
You know, I know you're upset about one thing or another, and then you feel okay. Then I know you're upset about another thing, and then you feel okay. Then I know you're upset about something else, and then you feel okay. All I'm asking you to do is stop pretending you don't feel what you feel, and it'll pass through you, and you'll digest it. But if you judge it, then you cause indigestion, which is whatever you see is blocking your peace in your life. That's just another form of indigestion. That's deep.
Yeah.
Because that's so much easier than trying to fix yourself 24 hours a day, every day. It'd be much easier for me to feel what I feel without judging myself than to spend the next 3 weeks trying to get rid of that feeling through fixing me.
Yeah.
So there are several here. Kathy says undigested is her relationship with money.
Okay.
Sophia's got childhood traumas.
Yes.
And Sia's saying, the sense of feeling abandoned. Jerry, beautiful, vulnerable share. Thank you so much. Can't get past that his son's been put in prison.
Nana said being overweight is something that she hasn't digested. Elizabeth is saying yes, we no longer make ourselves wrong in anything. That's deep. You mean you're telling me that I can hate somebody, but if I was to completely feel the hate, don't judge myself for feeling the hate. The hate would move through me and leave.
Yes.
But if I sit up trying to pretend I don't hate because that's not spiritual, then I'm doing spiritual indigestion and destroying my peace. So I have made myself feel guilty a lot in my life for thinking that I'm having bad feelings, that I'm having feelings that a loving person shouldn't have. And this unconditional love that I'm receiving through the way of mastery is telling me, no, brother, all I'm asking you to do is embrace it with love. That means feel it completely. Because I used to think embrace it with love. Go, ooh, I love my anger. Oh, I love my depression. Oh, I love... No, it's saying you are embracing it with love when you feel it completely. That is the embrace. Because that means love doesn't judge. And now you're experiencing love of it because you're no longer condemning yourself for it. And that's the challenge I have with this doggone book in the Course in Miracles and the Way of Mastering. All this stuff is, it lets me off the hook. And there's a part of me that believes that punishing me is the solution. And these books keep letting me off the hook, saying I'm okay. Basically always saying, you're okay the way you are. You're okay the way you are. You're okay the way you are. And that's the last thing my egoic mind wants to hear. Because my whole life is built around fixing me. I got these issues that need to be worked on. Okay? So the worst thing this book could do is tell me, have it. Have your freaking issue. You still cool. Just feel it. Embrace it.
It's all good.
It's all good. It'll pass through you if you do that. And that what you want? Don't you want your anger to leave? Don't you want your depression to leave? Therefore, beloved friends, learn to digest all things in love. Learn to digest the traffic jam in love. Learn to digest the dying of a pet in love. Learn to digest an apple in love. Learn to digest a hurtful thought in love. Learn to digest a misperception that there is something wrong with the world around you. With love, transform all things by the power of your own reality. Is there anything else that anybody here want to say that was undigested in them?
I feel like there's a lot of undigested judgment with the politics that I see, and I feel like I actively choose to tune into that realm and feed myself that judgment. And I don't know if I necessarily I don't know. That just feels undigested for me.
That's right. That's right. And anything that's undigested is something that you're not giving yourself peace about.
Yeah.
That's how you can. That's how you can find out what's undigested.
Okay. I've seen this literally with my whole drug background. I used to literally not have any problems shooting heroin. It was a loving perfect time. Guilt came in my life. I started judging myself. I couldn't even have a Sprite without feeling guilty. I would judge myself so crazy. And it just literally proves that when you're saying this stuff, I'm like, wow, my Scorpio side just had to experience extremes of that to
Scorpio
make it
extremes. Wow, Scorpio doing things to an extreme.
Absolutely.
Oh, can't imagine.
Man.
Be like a Sagittarius, jovially and happily take yourself to hell. That's the way we
Just
do
for
it.
the
We happily take ourselves over the cliff.
Just for the
We're in our ego. That's like you were talking about what you did in your ego. You know. Yeah.
Crazy.
So it says there, something has to come into mind. Yes, it did. Trust it. Stay with that one thought, that one picture, that one memory, because it has arisen, that one undigested thing has arisen in the conscious mind to be healed and transformed now. So that's why you brought up what you brought up when it came to what it is you have not digested. So bring your attention to it in this very moment. if y'all really catch what this book is doing, it's still telling us to do what we always
Just
do
do it.
anyway.
Right.
You're always putting your attention on the thing that's got you upset.
Yeah.
Right?
And so it didn't turn around and say, now, bring your attention to it in this very moment. Yeah, thank you. I'm already doing it.
Yeah.
Then look at it. Okay.
Okay.
Breathe with the body. That's what usually happens. See, everything it's asking us to do is what we already do. Breathe with your body. How? How do I do that? You know, like it's what you always do. You breathe with the body and say simply within the mind, I choose now to fully digest this.
I choose now to fully digest this.
By bringing love to it.
By bringing love to it.
By actually loving the event.
By actually loving the event. Ooh.
Just as it was.
Just as it was.
Loving the picture.
Loving the picture.
Loving the memory.
Loving the memory.
Loving the thought.
Loving the thought.
Just as it is.
Just
Okay,
as
now
it
let me
is.
read it another way that'll make even more sense. Love is freedom. So do it this way. I choose now to fully digest this by bringing freedom to it.
Yes.
I fully now
I choose now to fully digest this by bringing freedom to it. By actually freeing the event just as it was. Freeing the picture, freeing the memory, freeing the thought. See the difference in that?
Yeah.
Just by changing it from love to freedom, you can see that then you're no longer attached to it. And how am I freeing it? I'm freeing it by digesting it. And I'm digesting it by experiencing it completely without judgment. That is freeing it. So if you wish, you can stand with your arms out wide and your palms turned heavenward and receive the love that does what? Transmutes all things. Breathe that love. Breathe that freedom. Breathe that love in. Breathe that freedom in. And through that picture, that memory, that feeling, whatever it is that is occurring to you, until it literally dissolves. Free it, feel it, until it dissolves. Let yourself feel it until it dissolves. If you don't feel that happening, if you don't feel it dissolving, even in your body, it's because there is a part of you that is resisting letting go of what has been undigested. In other words, it's a grievance. That's another term for undigested.
Yeah.
And I'm resisting letting the indigestion go. And so that's why I don't think anything is happening when I do this. Now, if that is the case, see again, instruction. If that is the case, what is the case? That you don't feel that happening, the dissolving, even in your body. There's a part of you that's resisting, letting go of what's been undigested. If that is the case, you need to ask who? Yourself. What? Why do I need to uphold my illusory perception about this event? Why do I need to uphold my illusory perception about this event? Or you can put it this way. Why do I need to uphold my illusory perception about this person? Why do I need to keep this false perception about this person going? Why do I need to keep this false perception, this undigested perception? Why do I need to keep it going? That's a good question. Okay, you got the grievance. This has been going on for years. It's something that's happened that you've not digested, that you feel like you can't let go of. Why do you need to not let go of it? Why do you need to not let go of it? Because obviously you're holding on to it. So ask yourself, why do I need to uphold my illusory, that means my false perception about this event?
Why do I need this illusion?
Why do I need this illusion? Why do I need to uphold my fearful perception? And don't forget, perception means interpretation. So just these definitions will give you a whole new slant on it. So you could say, why do I need to uphold my false interpretation about this event. I've got a false interpretation. I've got an interpretation that I'm keeping about this that's keeping me upset. Why do I need to keep this in? Because it's my interpretation that's upsetting me. It's my interpretation that's upsetting me. It's my interpretation. So why do I need to keep holding on to this interpretation that I am choosing to continue to use? You should ask that about anything you find yourself not being able to let go of. Why do I need to hold on to this so bad? Then ask, what in me is committed to withholding love? What is it in me that's committed to holding on to the indigestion, the grievance? What is it in you that's committed to keep that anger going? What is it in you that's committed to keep that situation going? He says, ask yourself that question. What in me is committed to withholding my love? Why do I need to uphold my illusory perception about this event? What in me is committed to withholding my love? Or put it this way, what in me is committed to withholding my freedom? What is it in me that's committed to withholding my freedom? Because that's what you're doing when you hold on to a grievance, which is an indigested experience. Or an undigested experience. Who's the indigested or undigested? Both of them. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, both of them work.
Yeah, thank you. That's what it is when you're perfect. Whatever you do works.
We're speaking a new language anyway.
We're speaking a new language anyway. Thank you, darling. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. When y'all heard that question, anybody got anything they want to share about those two questions?
I'm just having a kind of a hard time. I'm counting on someone else to help me with a bunch of things, and they keep doing it not factually. Like, oh, that's not how it. It's a lot of marketing stuff, and it keeps coming back to me incorrect. And I'm like, so I've lost 2 full days, and I got to hit the roof, and I went to pick up a bunch of these marketing materials today, and they had given me marketing materials from the last deal that I did, and I was like, oh my God. So it's just, I'm like, okay, how am I creating this? How am I trying to bring love to this? What am I not digesting when I'm counting on someone else? Because I don't have the printer and all that stuff to do this work, and I'm like, what?
Well, first of all, you do as much as you can do, and then you let it go.
Okay.
In any situation.
Because I'm not holding a grudge against them.
That's what I'm just saying
want
it because I hear people, that comes up a lot with people. What about with somebody else? And I always say, do everything that you can possibly do from the most peace you can do it from until you've done as much as you think you can do.
Right.
And at that point, you got to let it go. You got to let go of your need to be in control of it. But you experience all of your feelings about it and embrace it. And you really say, how can I extend love now? And be honest with yourself and ask yourself, have you ever asked that question until you felt peace? Because that's the way you know if you've applied the truth long enough. If you have not applied it until you feel peace, if you haven't asked the question until at some level you feel some level of digestion, some level of relief, you know you haven't done what you've been asked. Because our temptation is to be in a ton of upset, say the truth weakly and half-heartedly, maybe once or twice, and then go right back to the thing I'm upset and obsessing about. If we be honest with ourselves. We don't go, I'm going to leave right now, and I'm going to get in my car, and I'm going to go to the park, and I'm going to open up the Way of Mastery. I don't care where I open it, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to say exercise until I feel some level of peace, even if the situation doesn't look like it's changed at all. You know, because I learned that a long time ago. If you have not applied it to the point that you feel some form of peace, then if you said it 100 times, it don't matter. You might need to say it 200 times. It's however long it takes for you to receive some form of peace. And so our ego says that should happen within 5 minutes. That should happen within saying it 3 times. That should, and we don't realize that we have just started to try to actually probably, really sincerely apply the truth in our lives. If we be honest with ourselves. We still are much more programmed now by our fear-based mind than to go to this. And go, how can I extend love? Who can I extend love to now? Which obviously the person who's not doing. But then our ego says, then that means I've got to emotionally say that I love this person and feel really good about it. That's what your ego would say. That loving this person means that I've got to somehow love and just feel so good about the fact that they're not seeming to do whatever it is that they agreed that they were going to do. No, loving it means I am going to, first of all, understand that it's the divine that does the loving and does it through me. And the other thing I need to remember is that I'm being asked to fully feel my feelings and digest it in this situation, because if I fully feel my feelings and don't pretend I don't feel what I feel, then I'm going to have more peace. And the minute I have more peace, I'll be able to hear my inner guidance better. I'll be able to get inspired better. I'll get another way of looking at it easier. So my first priority is to get me to more peace, whatever that takes. That's where the digestion starts. And then your own higher self will tell you the next step to take. That's why in these classes I try not to give specific, so-called specific answers to people about situations, because every situation is different. And even though the answer is always the same, the form it takes changes. So I need to get quiet enough to be, so that I can hear what would give me the most peace in this situation. You know, notice I didn't say what was right or what was wrong in this situation. I said, you pause long enough to get to the point that you give yourself more peace in this situation. Even if that peace is me getting in my car for a minute and just going out there for 5 minutes. Peace has got to be my priority. And feeling what I feel honestly, so that I can digest it. Okay? Did you have your hand up?
Yes, I did. I wanted to say that I really appreciated when you said, you know, going and reading it until you feel some form of peace.
Yeah.
Because I know I've heard you say before, and like, you know, we hear it the way we want to hear it. Sorry. So I really appreciated that, because sometimes when I'm trying to do that, I set an expectation for myself and then I fail in it, you know, because I don't really take some form of peace. I expect it to be something more than just the tiniest little shred of peace.
Right. Right. That's what people miss. They think, I'm supposed to feel enlightened. You know, and it could be, you know what? I was going to kill you 5 minutes ago. Now I'm just going to chop you up in little bits part of you.
Yeah.
I have some form of peace now. You know. Yeah.
So, asking the question, why do I need this illusion, really resonated with several people on here. And May, for example, said she has this aha that if I keep my body sick, it gives me a reason not to share my body with anyone else. And so it's justified, right? Trish says, of course, she's holding on to the illusion because she wants to be right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right? And I can't see what's lower, but you probably can.
Well, Nana says, why can't I digest the ego? You can digest the ego. Because when I say feel the anger, feel the guilt, that is the ego. The ego is the feeling of separation, anger, guilt, depression, and fear. So yes, you can digest the ego. And then Sophia says, an addiction to belief, I am not worthy of consistent effort. I love that. The Course in Miracles says that the reason why we don't do what these books tell us is that we don't think we're worth the effort. Not that anything is telling us is hard. It says we don't think we're worth the consistent effort to do it. That's pretty intense, ain't it? Then Maureen says, could it be the authority problem? Subconsciously feeling that I am God rather than God's son. That is, all problems are the authority problem. Who created who is the problem.
Yes.
He says you still think you created yourself, and you think your creation was anonymous, which means mysterious. And that's true. I do wonder where I really came from. I do see my creation as mysterious. And that is the authority problem. And the truth is saying, where you came from isn't mysterious. You came from God. Okay?
Get over it.
Yeah, get off it. You know, you didn't just miraculously appear because the sperm and the egg found each other or something? Something like that. Something like that.
The big bang that happened within.
Yeah. And then Kathy says, I am worthy of consistent effort. And Demola says, the question raises for me only reason I'd want to keep event or grievance imprisoned and not free, it is because I still value the valueless.
Yeah.
Temporary.
Suzanne, so all problems are an authority problem. Okay, so I'm gonna. There's a couple of things I'm gonna do to wrap this up. That's very powerful. But let's acknowledge ourselves.
Yes.
And I want to acknowledge you online for hanging in there with the earlier technical difficulties, because those of us who hung in there have been rewarded with our patience. It didn't happen anymore. And so thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing with me. I'm going to pass this for the financial expression of appreciation. I love you, no matter what. Those of you online, I'm a full-time teacher of this stuff, and I really appreciate your sharing. So go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and thank you very much for helping me. I really do, and sharing with me. I'm available for one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions that I use all of these teachings, Course in Miracles, Way of Mastery, and the Course of Love, and also my knowledge of astrology and numerology, and I bring all of that into a personal session with us, plus us dialoguing to give you clarity on anything that you've been using to keep yourself from having peace and joy and happiness. So I'm available for that. Go to my website, and I'm also available for mentoring. There are a lot of ways that I want to serve, and just go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and sign up for the contact list, because I will be doing workshops online and in person this year, and I want to be able to let you know when I'm having it. And please share, comment, and like these videos, because when you do that, it extends the reach of these videos on Facebook. So we are Mighty Companions. I'm asking for your support. Take a moment to share and comment. Won't take very long. It will make a difference in terms of spreading the message. I need your help. I need you to get involved with me. Because I love you and I appreciate you. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so I'd like to ask you all, we're going to end this on a powerful note. And if you notice, those questions that we asked really got us to thinking.
Oh, yes.
So there are some more questions that I want to ask you. What is it that you haven't been willing to digest about this life? What is it that you have not been willing to digest about your life? What is it that you have not been willing to digest about this world? What is it that you have not been willing to digest about this presidency? What is it that you have not been willing to digest about Donald Trump? Where are you refusing to bring your love? Where are you refusing to bring your freedom? Because where you are refusing to bring your love is where you are refusing to bring your freedom.
Damn. Oh my God.
When you say you love me, you're saying you free me. And freedom is of the mind, it's not of the body. So when I talk about freedom, I'm not talking about freedom of the body. I'm talking about freedom of the mind. And freedom of the mind comes from having innocence and no guilt. Freedom of the mind is having an innocent mind. Because an innocent mind doesn't believe that it deserves to suffer. And so an innocent mind doesn't attract pain. Because an innocent mind doesn't believe it deserves to suffer. So an innocent mind doesn't hurt itself. So when I say, where are you refusing to bring your love? It's the same as saying, where are you refusing to bring your innocence? Where are you refusing to bring your peace? Where are you refusing to bring your love? What is it that you haven't been willing to digest about your life? What is it that you haven't been willing to digest about this world? Is it your government? Is it your Internal Revenue Service? Is it a person, a mate, a partner? That's where you've been refusing to bring your love and not willing to digest? Is it to the children? Is it to a pet? Is it to the school system? What is it that you have refused to bring your freedom to? What is it that you have refused, Raj, to bring your love to? Who is it that you have refused to bring your love to? Who is it that you're refusing to bring your freedom to? For the greatest joy in life is to be the lover of life. I'm asking you to be a lover, but I'm asking you to be a lover of life. And as you love, you experience love. 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 As I love, I experience love. As I love, I experience love. I want you to think about that. As I love, I experience love. Therefore, do unto others what you would have done unto yourself. But I want to also add what you would do to yourself if you loved yourself.
Yeah.
Because doing unto others what you would have done to you is not a cool saying if you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't love yourself, you want people to mistreat you. And so you mistreat others. So you do unto them what you want done to you. If you want to be punished, if you want to be hurt, if you want to suffer, then you're going to hurt other people. Because you're going to do to them what you want to be done to you. And what you really want done to you, isn't it to be loved? Isn't that what you really want to be done to you? Love, freedom, love, freedom. So the greatest joy in this life is to be a lover of your life. Be a lover of your life. Be a freer of your life.
Yes.
That's what I mean by be a lover of your life. Free your life. Digest your life. Stop holding grievances against your own life because it has not lived up to your expectations. Stop beating your body up because it's not making you special enough. Digest your body. Digest somebody else's body. That's another workshop.
It's called the snake.
Mighty companions, you all are great lovers of life. I love you. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Let's acknowledge
I need to hear this. Thank you.
Yeah. Me too.
Let's give it to our mighty companions online.
Yay!
I love you so much, y'all. Hugs are available. Hugs are available.
Scotch? No.
Thank you for hanging in there, mighty companions. I love you.
Wow.
It's not good. But you did. It's because you didn't love it.